Hey, this is Russ. Yeah, I'm back out on the road again. Yeah, it's been a while, huh? Yeah, this is an actual ride. This is not a talking head over the top of an old ride. This is a new ride. So today is Sunday. It's about 50 degrees or so out. Of course, with the wind, it makes it feel a lot colder. So let me tell you about how I got prepared for this ride. It always takes a lot of effort to go out to make a video, more so than most people realize. I actually went out, this is my third time out trying to get out to take the ride. Because both first and second time didn't do so good. Yeah, I didn't have everything prepared right. So I'm riding a Magicycle commuter bike right now. And I'll tell you the reason why for that too in a bit. So let's turn here, go down this path. You guys are familiar with this path, right? We do these paths all the time. We're not going to go too far today. I've got to stay around neighborhoods today because it is kind of cold. It's not really that great, but I needed to get out. So here's what happened. To get ready for a ride, I've got to get all my equipment ready. It's just like somebody going to war. You got to check all your weapons and everything, right? Well, same thing here. I had to check everything. Change the batteries, make sure the batteries are fresh on the recorder, on the digital audio recorder, get the helmet out, wire it all up, plug it into the digital recorder, make sure the GoPro is set up properly, get the right angle, put on the chest mount, put on a heavy jacket, put on some gloves. Don't have my hat. I usually try to wear a thin cap underneath my helmet. Couldn't find it. So my ears are cold now. I don't have my safety vest on because, putting on the jacket and trying to put the safety vest on top of it, although it does fit, it's very tight then with everything on. So I'm riding without the safety vest. I do have my front light blinking. You see that? Had to bring some water, right? Let's put the water in the water bottle, stick that on the rear rack on this bike. I'll show you the bike a little bit later here. We'll get off a little bit later after we ride for a little bit. Get the cell phone, make sure it's got the cable up here so I can charge it while I'm riding at the same time. So you figure everything's all good and ready to go. So I head out. Yep, I realized that the windscreen that's on my microphone was not on the microphone anymore. Somewhere along the line, it must have popped off somewhere. I don't know where it went. So I had to go back. So I was out and I had to go back again. Because if I don't have the windscreen on the microphone, you'd hear nothing but wind noise as we're talking. Or we'd have to use the GoPro camera mic, and that's windy and noisy as well. So I went back and then got that all settled. Got another windscreen, put it on there. Then I said, okay, let's head back out. Yeah, well, you got to pump up the tires. Because apparently over the winter, you're going to lose air pressure. Now, on this commuter bike, I typically put in 50 pounds of pressure. This is a 27-inch by 1.25-inch tire. So it's a very thin tire with press-the valves. I do have the press-the valve adapter for my my compressor. If you guys haven't gotten a compressor yet, go on to the description of my video. I have a link to Amazon to the compressor that I use. Get one of those. I'm not kidding. You want one of those. You don't want to be hand pumping, especially if you have fat tires. You definitely want to. You definitely want to get a compressor. It makes it a lot easier. So I had to pump up the tires. It had dropped to 27 pounds and 30 pounds on the tires over the winter months because we haven't been using this bike, right? So what about the battery? Well, let me tell you a story about that. You know, as you know, I dropped down the batteries on these bikes to about 70% level. Apparently, I must have dropped this one lower than I thought, because when I went to check batteries, see how batteries were doing over the winter, I found that this battery was totally dead. I don't know how it dropped or whatever, but it wouldn't even start up. So I knew immediately I had to charge this battery up. So last night I charged up the battery, and that's what got me thinking that if I take the first bike out, it's gonna have to be this bike. Ride it around, bring it back to the 70% level again, right? So yeah, that's why we're using this bike. All right, we're gonna have to pass these guys here, but we got too much traffic. So we'll wait until the walkers on the left pass us, and then we'll make our move. Thank you. Thank you. So anyway, that's why I'm using the commuter bike. It's because I had to charge it up, and now I'm going to try to discharge it a little bit. Because the actual riding season is going to be starting soon. Well, let's hope soon. So it's not that far off, but still, I don't know when that will be, or whether I will take this bike for the next rides and the like. So I've got to drop it down. So that's why we're on the Magicycle commuter bike. In addition to that, you know, I was talking about that if I ended up going to Mackinac Island next year, I'd have to use a Class 1 bike, because you're not allowed to use anything but a Class 1 bike if you even take an e-bike at all. But because I have a permanent handicap issue with my knees and my hips and everything, I can use a Class 1 bike. So it would be this bike if I took it. Now, the responses I got from y'all for the trip, which of course, if we do it at all, will be next year. It won't be this year. Ranged from nice place, great place to go, to don't do it, Russ. Everything's overpriced there. It's not as good as you think. So many people also said, don't go. It's expensive. Yeah, that place is expensive, man. If you did the Grand Hotel, which is where the movie from Christopher Reeve and Jane Seymour, what was that? Somewhere in Time. It was shot at that hotel. Yeah, many of you guys mentioned to me that I should watch that movie. I did watch the movie. They had it on Tubi, Tubi. It's a free streaming service, but of course you get commercials and stuff. So, you know, it was kind of tough watching a movie with commercials. I tell you, I have not seen a commercial on a movie in a long time, because usually I would just watch Netflix or something. But that was the only one that was running it for free. So I said, okay, I'll watch it. Yeah, it was a good movie. Kind of dated. Literally and figuratively. Yeah, if you don't know what the movie's about, check it at imdb.com. Look it up, it'll tell you the storyline. He goes back in time. Yeah, so yeah, dated, get it? But we got to see the hotel and everything. And so everyone said that, yeah, that place is expensive. Yeah, it's like $500 a night, something like that. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it is overpriced. It's nice, but it's overpriced. So where are we gonna go? So let me tell you real quickly what's happening. We talked about it. We said, well, maybe we'll go back to Door County, Wisconsin. We've been there once before, but without a bike. You know, we just went there to go. But this time we would take e-bikes. Yeah. But here's the problem. To travel 6 hours or whatever length of time it takes to get from the Chicago area to Door County area of Wisconsin, it's about a 6-hour drive. I really don't feel like putting heavy e-bikes on the back of the car rack and driving that much distance back and forth with it, and then having to worry about those heavy bikes and everything. So we said, what about taking the folding bikes instead? Put it in the inside. We've done this before. We've gone to Wisconsin before. We put the folding bikes in there. It was the Engwe and the Rad Mini Step Through 2. Well, we sold the Rad Mini Step Through 2. So now all we have is the Magicycle Jaguar Rundy, which is fine, and then the Engwe EP2 Pro, which has 2 batteries as well. But we kind of said, wouldn't it be nice if we can both ride the same bike while we're up there? And one of our subscribers suggested I contact Magicycle and see if Magicycle would be willing to get me another Jaguar Rundy so we can do these videos. Good promotion for them, nice for us. Of course, I would need a second battery for that one as well. I'm still waiting for the second battery for the first one I got, which I got way back in, when did that show up? September or something like that? Still haven't gotten that second battery. I don't know what's going on. They keep telling me it's coming. Yeah, well, that's kind of hard to swallow when they keep telling you it's coming and it doesn't come, right? Let's turn here. We're just riding around anyway. So I think I will ask them. The worst that can happen is they say no, in which case then I'll take the Engwe. But I think it would be nice to have both the same bike, don't you think? Yeah. So my suggestion was, if we do that, and I talked to my wife, I said, hey, look, if Magicycle gives us a second Jaguar Rundy for this trip, we're going to have to put you on camera. And you know, she doesn't like to be on camera. So she agreed that if I shot her from the back, so in other words, if she was in front of me, didn't show her face, all that kind of stuff, she would do it if Magicycle gives us another Jaguar Rundy. Hey, that's a good incentive to get another Jaguar Rundy, don't you think? Yeah, we got to get Magicycle to send me another one. We'll see. I'll ask him. We have some other things we have to take care of first with Magicycle, and then once that's taken care of, I'll ask him. So what else? Well, you know that I said that. All right, let's go this way. Take a left here. So I told you that I'm going to San Francisco to visit my sister. And she doesn't live in San Francisco, not anymore. She used to, but out in that area. Okay. So I'm gonna go visit her at the end of March to middle of April, something like that. And yeah, we'll ride. Wow, there's big smoke stuff going on over here. Is this house on fire? What's going on? It's on the left. They're burning something off. Oh, they're burning stuff off. I'm looking to the left. I'm sorry, I don't have the 360 camera. Otherwise, I would have shown it to you. But of the huge smoke coming out of that house. So, so they have 3 Rad power bikes. They have 2 Rad Mini Step Through 2s, which is the ones we sewed off, and then they have the Rad Expand 5. So yeah, we're gonna try to ride around. My sister went ahead and got a hitch on her car, on her SUV, and then she also ordered up a rack from Hollywood Racks, which I know many people have, and so we're gonna try to take those bikes. Maybe put one in the car, and then put the other 2 out on the rack. We'll see how well we are able to do this. So I'll be out there. We'll do a little bit of riding out there. My hope is that we end up going to visit Rad Power Bikes Berkeley retail store. And if I'm able to go there, I'm going to ask them if they'll allow me to record. And I'm going to see if we can try out the trike, the Rad trike. And then there's a new bike coming out, I believe March 1st, which they interestingly, they put a little advance email out saying, hey, this is coming March 1st. And they did like they did last year, where they put the bike in really dark photos so you can't really see it well. But of course, last year what happened was people took that photo and then put it in Photoshop and lightened it up, or in Lightroom and lightened it up. And then you could see what the bike looked like. That was the Rad Expand 5. Well, they did it again this year, and I did it too. I put it through Photoshop and lightened it up, and they hid a little notice in the dark black saying something to the effect that, not much to see here, or something like that. Come back March 1st or something like that to take a look at the actual bike, and turn the lights off when you leave. Because we all lightened up the photo. Yeah, you could see it. Based on what I see, my guess, and many other people guess too, it is a Rad, what do they call it? A Rad Runner? Maybe an updated Rad Runner. But I saw in some posts, some people were saying $2,500. Gee whiz, if that is the case, they really raised the price on that bike. I think if that is truly the case of the price, they're overpricing themselves at this point. On your left. Thank you. So, I don't know what's up with Rad. They've been raising prices and things, and the bikes aren't updated that much to make it worth the money, in my opinion, at this point. Now, my first bike was a Rad Rover 5, and at that time I thought it was a good value. Now I look at their bikes and I'm kind of like, are they overpricing? Now, granted, this new bike, I believe, will probably have hydraulic brakes over the standard regular brakes, mechanical disc brakes. Okay, that's fine, but come on, you wanna put some other stuff on there to make it, worth that kind of money. Somebody had mentioned before that they thought the Magicycle Deer was overpriced. Well, if you compared that to that, I would say that other one would be overpriced. But again, we can't say that, because what we may think is overpriced might be perfectly fine for someone else, right? So I don't want to really make judgment calls on pricing, quite frankly. I think if you're going to review a bike or check it out, you do it on the merit of how the bike performs. And as far as how expensive or inexpensive the bike is, that's up to the person looking at the bike, I think, to make that judgment call. But if you want to reference it to other bikes, yeah, certain other bikes would be cheaper. But then again, other bikes are more expensive. So, speaking of other bikes, I had a comment by somebody who, again, not too thrilled with the Russ's Ride channel. You can kind of tell. And I mentioned that, said I was bragging about how many bikes I got. No, I'm not bragging about it. I'm just telling the people how I make decisions, which bikes I get and which bikes I don't take with me. Thank you. So, but the reality is, a number of e-bikes have been given to me, and a number of e-bikes I've turned down. So, yeah, if that's considered bragging, okay then. But I'm just telling you the reality of what has been happening with bikes that are being offered and for review and the like. But I think the issue really comes down to kind of more like jealousy. than anything else. I'm not bragging about my bikes that come in. I'm just telling you, this is what happens on YouTube channels. I mean, bikes are given to people to review, and a number of bikes have been offered to me to review, but I don't take every bike, because some bikes I don't have an interest in it. I don't think I trust sometimes some of the bikes. I don't want someone buying a bike because I said something about it and then the bike doesn't perform well or the battery blows up in your house. Not to say that the other bikes won't, but we're trying to limit the type of bike so that we don't have to worry about it, right? So that's all I was saying. But again, he wasn't too happy. The thing is if a person has a number of bikes, and I still have them, many of you have said, give it to us. I've already explained that before, that that is in payment for my work as a YouTuber, and it's up to me how I want to do it. And like I said, I would sell those bikes because that's how I make money to support my family. But everyone tells me to donate the bikes to them. I can't do that. Sorry. I mean, we have things that are given away. Like Ex-Nito gave away 2 helmets for us recently. Both of the guys have got their Ex-Nito helmets. I've heard back from them both that they got it. One of them even sent me a picture of himself wearing the helmet, and I think he likes it. So yeah, we'll get stuff. But big items like the bikes, not necessarily that will be something I will just give away. If anything, I will sell them, because I kind of need the money just like everyone else to survive. So yeah, don't ask me for my bikes. I'm not going to give it to you. I might sell it to you, but I won't give it to you. Okay, some YouTubers give it away. That's up to them, but I'm not in the same financial situation as them, maybe, right? So anyway, this is the things that I'm hearing, through this last couple of weeks and the like. But when you try to tell people what the future is coming up, what we're planning on doing, what we're reviewing, what's coming up, some people will see that as bragging. Other people will see that as, okay, just kind of telling us what to expect to come up. And if you're a long-time YouTube watcher, YouTubers get products to review. This is not unusual, okay? Happens. It's not just me. Other people get it too. So let's see. I've ridden about 6.8 miles now on the bike. I know I can get at least 22, 23 miles out of this bike because that's been tested before. That's if I'm using pedal assist level 1 or 2. I was on 2 all that time. Let's drop down to 1. I find that I really don't need to go more than 1 or 2 on this bike. It only does 20 miles per hour, all right? It is class 1, true class 1. I'm doing pedal assist level 1. I'm hitting about 15 miles an hour right now. I think when I'm 2? Let's go on 2. And I have to pedal for everything on this thing. I cannot, well, you could coast, but if you want help, right? I don't have a throttle on here. So what were we at, 15 or so on level 1. I'm getting 17.8 on level 2 right now. So yeah, you gain a couple, but if we drop it to 1, you could drop it to 0, get no assist. On 1, I give about 15 to 16, which is fine for something like this. This is not a bike for speed, okay? This is a bike that you take out because you just want to ride a bike. Yeah, stop sign, right? So hey, are we going to be stopping at the stop signs this year? Well, I will be doing at least the rolling stops. I've tried to remember to do rolling stops as much as I can. Full stops, no. I mean, full stops, I'd have to hop off the bike and like, hey, let's talk about that too. People have asked me to lower the saddle on my seat of the saddle of my of my bikes, so that when I stop, my feet hit the ground. No, I don't do that. Proper riding of a bike is a certain amount of extension, not full extension, slight amount of flexion, but close to full extension, but not quite there, to get a good pedal stroke. Now others have said, you don't want to do that. You're getting owed. You want to be able to, if you stop, the 2 feet hit the ground. No, sorry. That's not how I've always ridden a bike. Proper bike riding requires you to have a certain extension, okay? Now, thinking about my knee too, and people have said, well, you know, you got a bad knee, you should be not doing it. You want the extension because you got a bad knee, all right? Because if you don't, it's actually more pressure on your knee when you're pedaling and you don't have that extension. So when I get off the bike, yeah, I hop off the saddle, but I'm straddling the bike. See, both hands are off. I'm standing up, I'm straddling the bike. It's perfectly fine. And my leg is better now in terms of strength, as is the knee. So, you know, if I even lean towards the left side, I'm not going to fall off anymore. That was only when I first bought the bike. Yeah, you know what? This thing is not going to, we're going to have to push the button. There's no other cars. We don't have enough metal to trigger it. So I'm going to trigger that. I hate doing it because that means coming up here to do that. Okay, now the cars come when you need them, right? All right. Because this is a single speed bike, starting is hard because I don't have gears. I can't go to a lower gear. There is no lower gear. There is no gears. It's just one speed. But it is a belt driven bike, so you don't hear it. Yeah, you don't hear anything. I could backpedal right now. You don't hear anything. Yeah, you don't have any gears that make noise. This is a bike for stealth mode. For you new guys, I've said in the past, people said, you know, you've had all these bikes, which is your favorite bike? This is one of my favorite bikes. I put it usually at number 2 level. Number 1 would be reserved for whatever is the best e-bike that gives me speed and all sorts of other power things. And then this one comes up second. So why do I pick a class 1 bike that's second? Because when I ride this bike, I feel like I'm riding a regular non-electric bike. Yeah, I've got a pedal the whole time. I have no option, all right? It's quiet. It's lightweight. It's easy to ride in that sense. I feel like I'm back riding a normal non-electric bike. And quite frankly, most people can't tell it's an electric bike. Now, granted, we have a display screen over here. You might be able to tell that way. There's a few extra wires in the front. But if you're not looking for that, you can't tell that much. Now, can you see the motor in the back? Not really. It's a small motor that doesn't look like a huge monstrous motor from an e-bike. Riding past somebody fast enough, nobody's going to be able to tell. So a lot of people just see this big heavy guy riding a thin bike. Well, they may laugh, but I usually still pass them when I'm riding. But I think if I were to take this bike out to Mackinac Island, still debating whether we'll really go. I think it is kind of expensive. I won't really go past level 1 because my wife would be with me at the time and she'd be riding a regular bike, non-electric bike. I'd still be going faster than she can go on level 1. So the duration of the battery would be fine. Even going around the island, people use it, I think, just to get around to the different shops and things and look around the island. But really, they said it doesn't take that long to get around the island. It's not that big of an island. So it would last me the day, I think. Yeah, we're passing the same general area as we started out at. Where are we at? 8.1 miles. Yeah, I'll go a little bit longer. Keep you guys out here. I'm getting used to the code now. I'm still sniffling though, as you hear. I'm sorry for that. I'm gonna sniffle because it is still kind of cold out here. So I hear a little bit of pedaling noise right now. I don't know why that is. Maybe I picked up some gravel or something in the belt. I don't know. Can you guys hear that at all? So I don't know what that is. Yeah, I'll pull over and let you show you the bike. For those who are new, who haven't seen the bike before, I'll show it to you. Let's just find a good place we can do it. So yeah, all of my bikes have certain accessories on there. Magicycle provided me with this particular cell phone holder. Let me show you this. You see that? They sell that on their website. It's actually pretty good. You slide it in there and just tighten it up. And because I have a half case, not half case, I'm sorry, a thin case in itself for the phone, it's kind of a little rubbery. Works out well. Clips on there real good. This headlight was from another website that I bought it off of. It wasn't a Magicycle headlight. Magicycle did give me 2 headlights, but one of them is on the Deer and the other one is on my my other bikes, my other Magicycle bikes. I can drop them back and forth, but since this was already there, I just kind of grabbed it. All right, let me pull off over here. Get off the bike, show you the bike. Now this is gonna flop around because I'm trying to balance the there we go. That's what the bike looks like. It's a nice bike. I like it a lot. It's got a belt drive on it. It's got a I think it's a 350 watt motor on there, if I'm not mistaken. Check their website. Just look up Magicycle Commuter Bike and you'll find the specs on it. And what I did with the water bottle though, I put the water bottle over here. I just put a bottle cage and then I put a secondary, just like a zip tie here. And that's just to kind of hold the water bottle from flopping around too much. So to get started on this, because there is no multiple gears, you're always at one gear. It takes a little longer to get started, but once you're started, you do well. Let's go back to 2. Pedal assist level 2, make my life a little easier. Yeah, hear a little bit of clicking. I'm gonna have to check it to see if something's stuck on the belt or something. I'll do that when I get home. But yeah, I just wanted to get out, at least get a regular ride back out there. Hey, look at this. This would be considered a motorized vehicle. All right. Now that is what they say. No motorized vehicles on a path. That's what they're talking about. All right. And they're on a sidewalk, which of course is not legal for them to do around here. He actually should be on the street, but who's going to say something? It's not me. I'm not going to say anything. He's riding with a kid. Yeah, I don't want my kid out on the street either. I probably would ride on a sidewalk, even though that's not legal. I keep reaching for the throttle that's typically on my right thumb. It's not a throttle, it's a bell. Yeah, I got to pedal everything. It's class 1, right? Class 1 isn't as bad as people think. I'm doing okay. I'm the guy with the knee replacement. I'm doing it. If I can do it, anyone can do it. This is a cadence sensor on this bike, of course, so I don't have to pedal hard and get the assist. I'm moving my legs. I'm not hard pedaling, but at PAS 2, I'm doing 16.3 miles right now, even barely pedaling hard. So yeah, there's a lot of help, even on a class 1 bike. So if you ever get a chance, whether it's this bike from Magicycle or some other class 1 bike, give it a try if you can. You might find that you like it. Nice part too is that these bikes are typically lighter in weight. This one is 43 pounds. So when people say, oh, e-bikes are heavy, not this bike. This is an e-bike. Well, it doesn't have a lot of battery. How much battery do you need? You know, the thing is, if you put a big battery on this bike, it would just raise that weight. It wouldn't look like a standard bike. You know, it wouldn't look like a road bike or whatever. So I think, yep. See, starting off, I'm starting off going up a hill a little bit. It takes a little effort on a single speed bike, but once you're moving, you're fine. Okay. So yeah, if you had a bigger battery, it would just weigh more. It would the down tube would have to be bigger, all sorts of stuff. So I think they put in as big of a battery as they can really do and still keep this bike looking like the way it is. But like I said, you know, a heavy guy like me, I get about 23 miles out of this bike. So around town doing odds and ends, I think that's probably fine. You know, for a guy who likes his range, you know, I like going distance. I wouldn't be riding this bike for distance anyway. This is an around town bike, really. All right, I think we've ridden enough. I think I better head home before I get too cold. Hey, I appreciate you guys following along. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that. We're gonna do more rides as we get closer to springtime and in summer and fall, of course. Go ahead and subscribe so you can keep track of what we're doing. I appreciate everyone subscribing up to this point. We got over 13,000 subscribers now. I appreciate that. Shooting for 14,000. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys next time.